Hey, here's the second video. I'm Monolito, and this time it's Knob Creek Straight Rye. This is the second video for my Whiskey Wednesday, and I'll probably be doing this more often. I got kind of a backlog of whiskeys that I want to post on YouTube, so probably for the next month or so, maybe longer, I'll be doing 2 videos every Wednesday just to kind of get through those as I continue to purchase new bottles. So again, this is Knob Creek Straight Rye Whiskey. So there's no age statement, it just says small batch, patiently aged. But because it's a straight rye whiskey, it's at least 2 years old. 100 proof, so 50% ABV. Again, I don't know the mash bill on this, but just like the Knob Creek bourbon, distilled and bottled by Knob Creek Distillery in Claremont, Kentucky. Now this is a 375 milliliter bottle, and I really like these smaller bottles because sometimes you go to, or I'll go to local shops, brick and mortars, and they'll have a pretty decent selection of the smaller bottles. And so you can actually pick up more by getting the smaller bottles instead of spending $100 on 1 or 2 bottles. You could probably get 3 or 4 bottles in these 375 milliliter or even the smaller samples. I've been going through some of those as well, and some of the Irish whiskeys and single malts get the little 3 packs with 3 different age statements or 3 different expressions, whatever the case is. But I really do like getting these smaller bottles just in case. Also, if I don't really like it, then I didn't spend as much money and I don't have as much of it that I need to drink in order to empty the bottle. But as you can see, I'm about half through with this one. I do like this one. It's another good whiskey, good rye. I've come to enjoy rye whiskeys. They have just a different nose, different taste than bourbons, and it's nice to mix it up sometimes. So I did go ahead and put this back here. I did cleanse my palate, drank some water, and then something that I've seen other YouTubers do, kind of smell your own body scent to try to clear your nose to get to sniffing a new, because this one's not as high as an ABV as the Knob Creek bourbon. So but I like to do bourbons first because they're sweeter and less spicy. So we'll see how this one is. Nice color on there, and I think that's a natural color. I'm not sure if it's chill filtered. I don't believe it is. So natural coloring as well. Nice viscosity. Try to focus in there. You can see, look at those legs slowly dripping down the glass. Really nice. And I'll do some water in this one as well after I nose and taste this one. So let's focus back in, and we'll give this a nose. And of course, I'm getting that rye, that spiciness from the rye. I get the alcohol, the ethanol. I do get a little bit of a burn on the nose, even though it's a lower ABV, is still kind of gets in there. And on this one, which I don't get a lot on some ryes, I've had a few, not a ton yet. Still exploring. On this one, I get a little bit of anise, black licorice, which I'm not a fan of black licorice, but it's not overpowering. So it's not like eating a handful of the licorice jelly beans or like a black licorice stick or whatever. Little bit of corn sweetness. At least it smells like corn sweetness. I'm not sure if corn is in the mash bill. Again, mash bills don't really mean that much to me. And that's about it that I'm getting on the nose. Just the slight black licorice, that rye spice. Some ryes I get like a bread type note. Not getting that on this one. A little more harsh. The ABV harshness, the alcohol harshness, is a little bit more on this one, which is surprising because it's a lower ABV than the bourbon. All right, let's taste it. So you definitely get that rye spice, and a little caramel sweetness in there. And then as it's finishing, and this also a medium to long finish because it's still going, doesn't dry my mouth out. So it's a good mouthfeel, nice coating. But as it's finishing, that's when the black licorice is kind of coming in, which again, I'm not a huge fan of black licorice, but it's not overpowering. It's not bad on here. I don't eat black licorice candy. I really can't stand black licorice, but it's weird how it's actually not bad in this whiskey because it's kind of mixed with a little bit of a sweetness, like a maybe a brown sugar caramel type sweetness on here, and then that rye spice. You get that spiciness on the tongue, but again, it's still I'm still getting that on the finish, so it's a nice finish. Then sometimes, as I'm bringing it up to sip on it, breathe in through my nose while I'm sipping, get a little bit of that corn sweetness on there. It's really nice. Again, I enjoy it, and you can see half the bottle's gone. And this one I picked up. Well, this one's more recent. I got this one in December, so I haven't had this a whole month yet, and I'm half the bottle. So it's obvious I enjoy it. Again, the higher ABVs. I guess one day I might try the I guess the normal Knob Creek Expressions. I've been looking at possibly getting the 25th anniversary. They still sell it on Reserve Bar or ReserveSpirits.com, but it's 147, so I'm just not sure I want to spend that on a bourbon. Let's go ahead and add some water to this. All right. There we go. Alright, so that's about a drop. For some reason it's not wanting to get in there. There we go. Alright, so not quite as much as I did on the bourbon, but there we go. There it is. It's like it got stuck in there. Alright, so just like the last one, I'm going to go ahead and let this marry for about 10 minutes. And so I'll pause this and I'll be right back. It's been about 10 minutes. I let this sit, marry up, let the water do its thing. So again, looking at the viscosity, still nice and oily. It's not really coming out very well on the camera. Well, maybe right there. Still sticking nicely to the glass. So it hasn't changed that or the color. So see what it's done to the nose. Yeah, so pretty much like the other one did. It's just now it's just alcohol. And a very very slight caramel. No rye that I can pick up. Very, very slight. You really have to work for that caramel. But the alcohol is there for sure. So again, another one I don't really like with water, so I mostly drink this one straight. I have tried it a couple times with water, and it's done the same thing every time. So, not always the same results with water. I guess it just depends on the whiskey. And I use distilled water. I don't know that makes a difference from bottled water or buying Kentucky limestone water or anything like that. I've never purchased that, but just some regular distilled water that I use, that I've used for my humidor. Still have a gallon of it, so a little bit more sweetness there. Let's taste it. Brings the rye out more. Excuse me. Still makes me salivate though. Didn't do anything to the mouthfeel. Still coating really nicely. Hasn't changed the finish, although not as much of the black licorice. So that's not as prominent as it was before, which I'd still rather just drink it neat. Keep the black licorice and the other flavors, because right now I'm getting that rye spice, still spiciness, little tingling on the tongue, not much sweetness, yeah, no change there. Yeah, the ABV is not coming out as strong, so it's not again neat. You got a nice warm feeling as it's going down. It kind of tamed that a little bit. Could be up with a little bit too much water, but that's fine. Yeah, the black licorice is almost completely gone with that little bit of water in there, so I guess if you don't like black licorice, you'd add a little bit of water in there and that'll take it away. Still delicious. Just from these two, I'm a fan of Knob Creek, so I wouldn't be surprised even if their standard bourbons taste just as good. Really curious about that 25th anniversary bourbon. Just don't know that I want to spend that kind of money, but we'll see. Alrighty, so that's it for this one. Knob Creek Straight Rye Whiskey. Thank you for watching, and cheers.